Hello, bonjour, 你好，Anya, hola，我是
The boy CP.
What's good everybody, this is CP and welcome back to my NBA Fantasy series. Today I'll be talking about 5 of the most improved players so far this season. If you play in a deep keeper or dynasty league, these are some names you might want to go after before their fantasy stock continues to rise in the near future. So without further ado, let's get it. De'Aaron Fox did not have an outstanding rookie season, averaging around 11.6 points and 4.4 assists per game. But in year 2, Fox is looking like one of the best players to come out of his draft class. He's setting new career highs across the board and is averaging around 18 points, 7.5 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. His shooting percentages have improved as well. He only averaged around 30% from beyond the arc in his rookie year and is shooting over 40% so far this season. In many ways, this is just the tip of the iceberg for Fox. He looks like he will continue to significantly improve for the next 3 to 5 years. In most leagues, Fox is already a top 50 to top 60 player, and he looks like one of the best up-and-coming point guards to trade for or go after in future drafts. Pascal Siakam is one of the biggest fantasy risers so far this season and has my early vote to win the Most Improved Player award. Fantasy-wise, he has been a breakout star, doubling his scoring to around 14.5 points per game, meanwhile averaging around 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. His field goal percentage has also improved from around 50% to 60% this season, and we are starting to see him hit more threes as well. In most standard leagues, Siakam has surprisingly been hovering around the top 30 mark and has solidified his place as the Raptors' starting power forward. I expect his fantasy stock to either rise or stay somewhere in the top 50 for the rest of this season. Many people picked Zach LaVine to have a breakout season this year, and he hasn't disappointed so far. Fantasy-wise, he's putting up new career highs in almost every offensive category. He has cooled down a bit of late, but was averaging around 25 points a game early this season. He has also been Chicago's highest used player and their main offensive option on most nights. At only 23, LaVine looks like he can potentially become the offensive catalyst for your fantasy teams for years to come. I could see him averaging around 25 and 5 along with a few all-star appearances during his prime. If you don't have an elite offensive stud like James Harden or Steph Curry to build around, trading for a name like LaVine might make sense for the future. Buddy Hield is another fantasy player that has shown great improvements so far this season. His early showings has been very impressive. He has upped his scoring efficiency, rebounding numbers, and is averaging close to 20 points per game. When he is hot, Hield can put up monster numbers. There was a stretch from late October to early November where we saw him average 24 points, 7.2 boards, 3.6 dimes, close to 1 block, 1 steal, and 3 trays per game. At this point, Hield is a must-own player in most standard leagues, but with the return of Bogdan Bogdanovic, Buddy's production might cool off a bit in the coming months. But overall, he should still be a top 80 player with upside to be in the top 60 by the end of the season. Domantas Sabonis is another young player that has surprised many people this season. His fantasy numbers saw a nice spike after moving from OKC to Indiana last year, but it looks like Sabonis has taken his game to a whole new level. Despite only getting around 25 minutes a night, he's close to being a walking double-double. His high field goal percentage, rebounding, and points per game makes him one of the best young fantasy big men to go after. As a bonus, he's also dishing out around 3 assists per game this year. This might be a sign of things to come for Sabonis to potentially become an above average big man in assists. His defensive numbers are not there yet, but it looks like it's only a matter of time before he figures things out. With Miles Turner and Thad Young still in the mix, it seems like Sabonis' playing time is holding him back from reaching his full potential, which means it might be a good time to buy in on him now before he becomes a full-time NBA starter and plays over 30 minutes a night. Finally, DeAndre Jordan is another player that deserves an honorable mention. Yes, he has been a very solid fantasy player for a long time, rewarding his owners with high field goal percentage and rebounding numbers. Over the years, his inability to hit free throws was the only blemish in his fantasy game, but for some odd reason at 30 years old, we are seeing Jordan shooting lights out at the line this year. Through the first quarter of the season, he's shooting over 70% at the line, which is amazing to see considering that he averaged around 43% in his first 9 NBA season. With a fixed 3-throw shot, there is little weakness in Jordan's fantasy game. He has been very durable for much of his NBA career, so it seems like Jordan should be able to produce at a high level for at least 2 to 4 more years. So that's a look at 5 of the most improved fantasy players so far this season. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these picks, and feel free to comment below if you have any fantasy basketball related questions. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please show me some love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. That's it for today, and I'll see everybody next time.